Hey, what's up everybody? It's TR with Earth Angel Mushrooms. I thought I would make a video updates on some shiitakes. So I think this coming week is going to be my largest shiitake week ever. So I think that I'm going to have about 800 pounds of shiitakes next week, which is not huge, but it's my biggest week ever for shiitakes. And then you put in oysters and kings. So I'm going to be damn near close to 1,500 pounds, I think. So we'll see. Time will tell. So anyway, you can see just a row of takis, and they're all just banging it out. Banging it out. It took me a while to be able to grow them like this. If you watch my last video, you'll see how I spray them down. And so I do that the first couple days. Had some people comment on, do I dunk? Do I spank them? Do I do all this stuff? The answer is no. Here's why. When you're paying for labor and you're paying for that stuff, you figure out what works best for the least amount of labor. How do I keep that money from going out and keep it either going back in the business or in my pocket? I prefer in my pocket, but I'm also still growing the company. So anyway, biggest week ever next week. I'm excited. I got a lot of shiitakes, and actually come down here so we can get a view here. That one is just rocking it out. Lots of takis. Then down here, I ran out of my big bags and I did a bunch of 5-pound blocks, and you can see they are performing like crazy. So that makes me stoked. Anyway, thought I'd give an update. Like I said, back to spanking and dunking and all that other stuff that people have been asking me about. You need to look at it as far as, if you're doing it for a business, what's going to save you money or what's going to make you money. Spanking and dunking, if they already have water in them, is just going to add probably excess water, depending on how deep the water is and how long you put them in there. It's just a step not needed. Whenever I was talking about spraying them with a hose, you are adding some water. That's not my main goal, to add water. I think the biggest factor is, one, environment. So to get those great pin sets, you need super high humidity, and I use a hose. So yes, as a byproduct, it is adding some water. Does it help? Maybe. It can't hurt, just that small amount of water. I know this from experience, that if you go to dunking blocks right out of the bag, like these, you can waterlog a lot of them, depending on how many. I used to use an IBC tote, if you guys know what that is. And then the bottom ones, they would get completely waterlogged, and you end up ruining some of them. So it's just not a risk I want to take. If someone wants to do a trial and give me the results of that trial, I would be happy to look at it. If you guys can figure out a better way, I would love to hear it. So my other video, I went over the business and what you should look for, or what you should be doing as a businessman over a mushroom grower. And I'll give you some advice on hanging in there and staying motivated when the times are tough. So this week I'm excited. Whenever we had all these blocks in here and I'm getting more shiitakes, I like to think back of the very first shiitake that I grew. And here it is. Or here's the stem. This is the very first shiitake I ever grew. And I keep this with me in my truck at all times, as a reminder on weeks like this, how far I've come and how absolutely worth it it is. So it still gets me excited to this day when I come in here and I see that my hard work has paid off and that what I'm doing is actually working. Let's get a view. Look at all those shiitake. So I'm excited. Again, here it is, or that's the stem, but I'll tell you what, it didn't look much better than this 5 or 6 years ago. But I keep that as a reminder to never give up. Never give up. So it took me a long time to get this one shiitake. I contaminated a lot of bags and ruined a whole bunch of other ones via heat. I can remember that. Tried to colonize them at 80 degrees. Yeah, shiitakes will not let you get away with that. Anyway, so hope I answered the question about some of you guys asking about spanking and dunking and all that stuff. That's, in my experience, you don't need it. You need that massive temperature drop from colonization to fruiting. I like at least 15 degrees, 20 degrees is better. And some people put them in the cooler. I used to do that until I ran side-by-side trials and saw that it doesn't increase yield. It doesn't do anything for you, really. So maybe on some strains that you guys are growing, but not on mine. So anyway, look at things from a business standpoint. Does it take more labor? Does it give you more yield? If it gives you enough money from the extra yield, then yes, I would absolutely do it. Does it give better quality mushrooms? Is it helping me sell them? But the answer to a lot of those questions, and I've run side-by-side trials on them, is no. Spanking, I've never experienced that helps out significantly. The cold shock, as long as your temperature drop from colonization over to fruiting is a significant drop, 15, 20 degrees, you're good to go. And dunking them is a recipe for disaster unless you dunk them one at a time, which is not cost effective, especially if you're paying somebody. So there you go. Hope I answered some of your questions, and stay motivated and hang in there and keep your first shiitake as a reminder that you can do it. We'll talk to you later.